NIL's obviously been in the headlines. When you were out at the Big Ten coaches meeting, what was your interpretation of the ruling, and what impact do you think that's going to have on the IU basketball program?
Well, I mean, it's going to help. I mean, I think anytime you got additional money that goes towards recruiting, it's going to help. I mean, we're in different times now, man. I mean, this summer was a busy summer for me and my staff in terms of entertaining the portal, and just a lot of work, man. I mean, and it's not going to change, man. It's going to be that way and for years to come. I mean, it's what it is, and I just think long as the playing field is even for everybody, it should be very competitive. You're able to go out and recruit and get talent to come in to help you win.
With the addition of the dynamic ability that Miles Rice and Keenan Carlisle have, what are some things that may bring to you that can enhance your offense or grow your offense, or just things that are in your wheelhouse now that maybe might not have been there without two guys with that dynamic ability?
Well, you think about our guard play over the last 3 years, and it's no knock. I mean, we had guys like X and Fennessy, and we couldn't keep anybody healthy, number one. And I've learned in this short period of time that I've been in college, you win with good guard play. It's great to have big guys that can play and do the things that we've had over the last 3 with our bigs that we've coached. But you win with perimeter and guard play, good guard play. And that was something that we came out of this past season, not having X, the games that he missed, that we had to really amp up our backcourt and get better, and I thought we've done that.
Mike, you talk about it being a busy summer, but you guys were able to fill a lot of spots, a lot of needs. How does it feel going into the season knowing you have a lot of depth at many different positions?
Well, we had no choice. We had guys that left. We had guys that graduated. That's the new norm now, guys. I mean, this is not like the Bob Knight days where you could build your team over 3, 4 years and trust the process. Our process now is changing every year because you don't know who's coming and who's going. And it was a busy summer because we had to fill a lot of holes based on who left and the guys that graduated. So it was a busy summer.
What did you like about guard play? You talking about guys that can go create their own shot or create shots for their teammates or control the tempo? What are you looking for from your guards?
Well, I tried to build our team around how I played a little bit in New York. We had guys like Jason Kidd and Raymond Felt and Pablo Prigioni, guys that can create and make plays not only for themselves but for their teammates. And that was one of the things when we sat down after the season in terms of evaluating players that entered the portal. That was going to be an emphasis on players that we brought back here from a perimeter standpoint. And these two guys are capable of making plays off the bounce. So they're capable of making plays for their teammates, and they're capable of putting the ball in the hole. So, and they're young players, if things don't go big and according to plan, all these guys' dreams are playing in the NBA, and if that doesn't happen, then hopefully you got them back for another year or two. That's kind of how we approached that when we stepped out to recruit these guys. So I'm pleased with the guys that we brought in. I just got to put it to work now and get them ready to play.
What did you like most about
roster turnover being like the new norm? Was there anything lessons you learned from last year with all the turnover you had last year, now this year, that you're going to apply, like structure or anything that you see that you might have done differently and that you could use this year with all the new faces?
Well, the one thing I have learned is that we got to be deeper in certain positions, and we came in last year, not knowing that, number one, we didn't think Jalen Fino would probably leave. And we knew we had Gabe. I didn't come into the season thinking that I was going to start and play Gabe the minutes that he played. Not that he didn't deserve it and not that he didn't hold his own. I mean, I thought Gabe had a hell of a freshman year. But we really counted on Xavier to be back after all his injuries that we just thought we had him back. And it crushed us. We never really rebounded from when we were playing catch up, where we had to mix and match and try to make Gallo a point guard. And Gallo did a hell of a job for us. He grew in that area, being able to handle the ball and make plays for not only himself but for his teammates. So I just didn't want to get caught in that position again. And I didn't think we had to this season after the guys that we saw in the portal that we liked. And once we got involved, they seemed to like us, and now they're wearing the Indiana uniform.
How's Trey's health? I know he had the knee problem at the end of last season.
Well, again, he's going through rehab, and he's not ready to play yet on the floor, but we're hoping and thinking he's going to be back and ready to go once season starts. So we just got to continue we got 8 weeks here coming up, starting June the 3rd, well into July, and hopefully by then he'll be ready to play.
Is there anything different you did this year in terms of, compared to the last couple of years in terms of recruiting the portal to be able to bring in the guys you brought in this year?
No, I mean, it's just we've done pretty much the same thing every year. I thought a year ago we had some good freshmen that came in, and we bought some pretty good portal players in, I thought, last season. But this year, it was wide open. It was more wide open in terms of how we evaluated it. We sat down at the end and I kind of treated it like I was when I was back in the NBA. I make our guys rank the top 10 players at their position, and in ranking them, then I make the decision on who I'm going to go get. And if it's the best player, then we got to give it a shot, because all they can do is tell us no. And we got involved with Ballo kind of early, not knowing that he was even going to go. We didn't know if he was going to go in the portal or not. There was rumblings out there, and I made it very clear if he goes in, we got to get involved. And he went in, and we were able to get involved and was able to land him here in Indiana. So it's been a busy summer. It hadn't been no different than what we've done in the past. We've approached it that way since I've been here. Fortunately for us, we've gotten players that want to wear an Indiana uniform and want to play for us, some really good players.
With him, year-to-year basis, do you want to be that heavy into the portal, or is it just kind of a case-by-case, year-by-year situation?
It's what it is. You just don't know.
Yeah.
That I would love to grow a team with high school kids, and they stay with me for 4 years, man. But those days are gone, man. I mean, it's you get a player that's disgruntled. Hey, I want more minutes, and I'm trying to put a team together, man, that you can't worry about minutes. It's got to be about team, and you got to commit to team, because then everything else take care of itself, man. And that's with any coach in college basketball. That's what you got to navigate, man, because everybody wants to play, everybody wants to go to the NBA. Well, shit, that's not realistic. You can't play everybody 40 minutes, and everybody's not going to play in the NBA. That's being real from a guy that's spent 34 years of his life there. So it's what it is.
And Baco talked about last season before the year that he wanted to be in the NBA after a year. He obviously had an up and down year, but got better as the year went along.
Who?
And Baco. What does he need to do this offseason to kind of put himself in a position where he could do that after next year?
Just keep working, man. You guys were down on him early, man, when he was struggling. And it's a process, man. You think because the guy wears a 5-star, 4-star, that they can come into college and tear it up. It's not that easy. It's no different than going from college to the NBA, man. It's a learning curve. I don't give a shit how good you are. You have to learn. And it was a learning curve for him. It was an eye-opener for him because he did struggle early. But he just kept working and working and working, and he got better. And I can't help but think he's going to continue to get better. You know, I got to push him. He's been working his butt off this summer. You know, they've been all over the place. You know, he's been out in L.A. playing with a bunch of NBA guys and working on his craft there with people that we know that can help him do some of the things that we already have taught him. So I can't help but think he'll come back this year and make another step, which we need.
With Umar, what do you like about him and just what stood out about him watching him?
He's won. He's been in a winning atmosphere at Arizona. And he's produced, you know, he's had some good years. And he's an older guy that's serious about winning. That was the whole thing that attracted me to him. And that's why he's wearing the Indiana uniform, man, because I think he can help us, you know, with his leadership, get to where I want to go, and that's winning a Big Ten title and a national title.
How do you see him and Malik kind of existing alongside each other?
He does a lot of nice things. He doesn't have to have the ball a lot like I featured Trace Jackson Davis when he was here. He doesn't have to have it a lot, but I'm going to utilize it. It'd be crazy not to. But he runs the floor. He creates space when he demands the ball. He blocks shots. He rebounds, you know, for his position. So I think him and Malik would be just fine. It might free Malik up a little bit more to do some things that I want him to do a little differently this year. But I think they can both coexist. I thought Malik and Ware had a nice combination together this year. You know, unfortunately, Ware is taken off to the NBA. So,
In the same breath, you bring back McKenzie, you add Bryson Tucker, Luke Goody. Can you also see a world where maybe matchup dependent, you can go with lineups that spread the floor a little bit more, whether it's, I don't know if you want to call it one big and wings, but just being able to.
Absolutely. And just like I played in New York, you know, I just haven't been able to get there. And I think we can this year, based on what we brought in. You know, we can play smaller a little bit with Mac and Goody probably playing some four. Even the big fella, you know, I'm going to try to play two bigs. I mean, just to test it and see. You just never know. You know, with that, you know, I mean, he can make threes. So we just got to, you know, I just got to wait. These 8 weeks, man, of summer play, you know, will kind of shape where we are as a ball club and give me some kind of indication of going into next season.
You mentioned recruiting your own roster. Were those conversations with Malik and McKenzie, did you have to give them a hard sell, or were they receptive? What were those conversations like to them coming back?
Well, it was huge getting them back, number one. But moving forward, you know, you got to put pieces around them, man. They can't do it by themselves. You know, we shown some of that in different times of the season last year. So, you know, we needed more pieces around them. But it was huge getting them back, though, because they're a big piece to our puzzle. There's
Mike,
no doubt about that.
Sorry. You talk about the portal being the new norm, but how do you balance that with an incoming class like the 2025 class, whether it's in Indiana or elsewhere, the guys like Braylon Mullins and Trent Sisley and Malachi Moreno's? How do you balance recruiting those guys and knowing that the portal is there for you as well?
Got to keep recruiting them, man. I mean, I'm not going to stop recruiting them. I think they're talented enough to help us here in the future. So we're still on their doorsteps. We're still going to AU games, and I'm on the phone constantly, you know, communicating, because we like to see them stay here in the state, you know what I mean? But again, you know, it's up to these guys. I mean, they've been offered a scholarship. I don't know what more we can do, you know what I mean? We can keep hammering home and say, hey, we want you in a uniform, come see us, can we come see you? And they still tell us no. So, I mean, it's different. You know, I mean, I convert back to when Coach Knight asked me to come here and play. it wasn't so much for the university. I came here because of Bob Knight. Hell, he asked me, gave me an opportunity. Shit, I didn't mess around. I'm coming, coach. I'm there. I'm gonna be there wearing the Indiana uniform. So those guys have that opportunity because I have offered them scholarships, and I do want them here, man. And I just got to keep recruiting. I can't quit. So, and hopefully one or two will say, hey, if not all of them will say, yes, I'm coming. It makes life a lot easier for us.
Thanks, Coach.